on a cruise in the Mediterranean, and that was the start of a lot of business connections and a lot of water that went under the bridge. And yeah, we've worked together quite a bit over those years. And I think Michael has always been very supportive, very good at marketing, and always comes up with solutions. So there's no such thing as a problem. When you're talking to Michael, they're always looking for the right solution for that. So yeah, having just said that, Michael, maybe you want to just say a little bit about yourself and
no worries. Well, great. Yeah, great. Well, I know there's some faces, Sharon, and others that I have met before many times, and others I'm new. So welcome everyone. My name's Michael. I'm joining you from Thailand, where I've been living here the last 4 years. This February, I celebrate 31 years full-time in network marketing, which either makes me old, experienced, or crazy, or a combination of all three. But I love the industry. It's been a life-changing journey for me. I've been very blessed that I've had a chance to work from home for that entire 31 years. And now wherever I call home, I've been full-time online since year 2000. And I've lived in a dozen countries. I was in Cape Town for 6 months, and that's where we had a great opportunity to spend a lot of quality time with Dave and others and his family. And it was one of the best times of my life in South Africa. I actually really enjoyed it. So a lot of fond memories, and I probably traveled to South Africa probably 20 times, I think, in over a couple of years. Yeah, and I said I've lived in about a dozen countries. I've traveled about 70 countries, but I love this industry. And basically, it's interesting, for the last 2 years, I was saying no to everything because Chris and I, my business partner for the last 6 years, and my best friend for the last 10 years, we basically pretty much involved in our own private projects. And and I was actually ready to retire in a sense of not wanting to do any more other people's projects. And Ilya, who is one of the co-founders of 𝙏𝙖𝙖𝙬 approached us back in September to do the IT development for a project. And basically they were looking, his business partner, Edward, had been involved with 𝙏𝙗𝙧 for a few years. And he approached Ilya about doing a project, a normal sort of network marketing model that basically would take advantage of their relationship with 𝙏𝙗𝙧. Basically, Edward's been trading since 1999, so over nearly 22 years now. And Jeremy was one of their friends who'd also had a relationship with 𝙏𝙗𝙧, and he put forward this model of a crowdfunding model with a smart contract. And I'm sure some of you have either heard of smart contracts, you've been involved in it. It's been the big trend of 2020, but nothing really with any sort of substance behind it. So this is the thing. What's captured the imagination here is everyone knew that smart contracts were great, because the most common thing that plagues companies is actual decisions made by owners, management, leadership, and power, greed, ego, all the human frailties. And one thing, this is my first smart contract project. What I love about it is I can see the full transparency that everything that's meant to happen actually can happen, and there's no human intervention with all those things that are going on. So we decided, Chris and I, to talk about it carefully. So my early approach with the IT, and then they changed to a smart contract model, and we didn't do smart contract development. So I wished him well, and probably like some of you, I got approached with 𝙏𝙖𝙬 just relentlessly over the last month, and my standard response was no. And but after a while, I rang up Ilya and said, Ilya, do you know about this project called 𝙏𝙖𝙬𝙧? And he said, Michael, that's the one I told you about back in September. It was quite funny, actually. So we had a bit of a laugh. And then basically I rang Chris up, and Chris looks after all the trading side of our private solutions. And I said, Ilya, you've met him in Thailand a few times. He's got this project called 𝙏𝙖𝙬𝙧, and they're using 𝙏𝙗𝙧. And turned out that Chris had already been researching 𝙏𝙗𝙧 prior to our knowing about it with 𝙏𝙖𝙬𝙧. So he was very impressed with what he'd found in his solutions. And I sort of believe there are actually signs, the actual law of attraction. So after knowing that my good friend Ilya for 10 years was one of the core founders, and I'd met Edward over a period of 12 months a few times as well, and knew they were both very high caliber people. My most trusted colleague, Chris, had already given the ticks for Endotech. And then my fiance and I went for coffee that afternoon, and we're looking at the menu. It was called the actual Daisy Cafe. And I went, okay, someone's trying to speak to me here. And we spoke to another person in the Philippines who I'm at a brokerage house previously, and he was a very experienced network marketer, built teams of sort of 500,000 people. And he had, at the institutional level, used the Endotech trading technology as well. And he shared his results with us. And I sort of got plenty of validation. So then we were sort of faced with a decision of, do I keep my standard approach of no, or do we take advantage? And we decided to go all in, basically. I think, you know, anybody who's worked with me knows that if I commit to something, I'm all in. And that's what we've done. And in fact, this morning I went for breakfast with Sydney, my fiance, and I realized I was driving out the house. It was the first time I'd left the house in 11 days. That's how crazy it's been. You know, I sort of, I eat and basically maybe watch an hour of TV at night with her, at nighttime, just to give us some attention. And she's been very tolerant with me. This is probably the busiest that I have to say, in my 31 years network marketing full time, I have not been this busy ever. It's been absolutely amazing, but it's been a great busy because I was sort of living here in Thailand. I've got a good quality of life. You know, I live in a wonderful part of the world. It's a beautiful part of the world, and cost of living is very cheap. But I'm actually enjoying being back in the game. I think, you know, probably like you, Dave, and the other leaders on this call, once network marketing gets in your genes or in your DNA, it's hard to get it out, you know, and I love the industry. I love, you know, what gets me out of bed in the morning is seeing people win. And, you know, and you're very fortunate to have Dave as your upline, because one thing I know about Dave is he's just a workhorse. My business partner, Chris, is the same. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life. And I think Chris and Dave have very similar personalities. They are very caring people who really have a genuine interest in people's success, and that's why I love being around them. And you know, my gifting is being the 50,000-foot view person, adding value to projects and driving a project to the end destination, and marketing. My actually brain thinks content all day long. I sort of wake up thinking content. I go to bed thinking content, and I've got quite a gifting for that. So. And I'm very big into systems. I'm a big believer that, you know, you can spend your day giving a dozen 1-hour presentations, or I can create a video that does a perfect presentation and give that out to 100 people in the same day. And that takes me an hour, and I got the rest of the day to myself to actually be productive. So we've systemized a lot of what we're doing to support you. So even though Dave's going to be away, that's not a problem, because we've got our Facebook group, and that was the first thing we did to systemize everything. And then I've got my YouTube channel where we've been creating actual video tutorials. So if somebody says, well, how do I join with Tronlink? There's a video. How do I join with Clever? There's a video. How do I look up the transactions on TronScan? Here's a video. You know, what's the opportunity all about? Here's a video. What message do I send to people to get them interested? Here's a sample message. Next week, we move to a whole new level of systems, because what we've done in our own private projects is we've probably spent over $100,000 in the last 18 months, 2 years, developing a lot of infrastructure with IT, with sales funnels and our own back office system. And my style of building infrastructure is, I like to make the IT team redundant. In other words, I say, I want you to build me a system where I have complete control over everything. I don't want to be reliant on you except to develop new features, new functionality. So we have the ability to completely customize sales funnels, customize our entire back office. So imagine this. You want to share days with somebody, you give them a URL, they'll go to a sales funnel, and they'll basically walk through a series of videos and information that will, one, capture them, their information, two, walk them through a journey to learn what it's all about. And you know, if they're more interested in the passive investment side, it'll steer them down that road. If they're more invested in the affiliate side of things and actually networking, there's for that. And along the way, it'll ask them questions as well, so you can actually profile that person to get an idea of, you know, what is the level of interest? What is their availability? What's their best method of contact? What's their experience in the industry? What are their goals? What's their understanding of cryptocurrency? So that all those things have been captured. So at the end of it, they've got a choice. They can actually request you to make contact with them. They can basically decide they want to go ahead, and then they'll basically be able to proceed. So they'll have your referral URL, and they'll have a walkthrough of exactly what to do to get started in the opportunity. Once they've done that, they'll then get access to our team only, this is for our team only, a members area, where they'll be put through an orientation system. So when they log in for the first time, they'll be forced to watch a small tutorial that will tell them the fundamentals of how to succeed in this business. And then there'll be a series of optional orientation as well. And on their dashboard, it'll show their progress. So that, and as part of the orientation process, we're going to again profile them a little bit deeper, ask some questions, and it'll show them even with as far as quizzes. So we can do quizzes and tell them where their answers are wrong. So maybe where they got the compensation plan, their understanding was not correct. At least now they know what the right answers are. And what takes to another level is you as the sponsor of that person, when you look at your actual genealogy, just for our system, it's not a mirror of the Daisy genealogy, but it's just basically a mirror of who you introduce into our team website. But it captures all the information. So if I introduce Dave and he's gone through the orientation, I just click on Dave and I can view all the answers. So I know exactly what Dave's done in his back office in terms of the orientation. I know how far he's got. I know more deep information. So when I talk to Dave, I'm a more informed upline. So I know exactly, hey, Dave, I noticed you like to be contacted on WhatsApp. I know your availability is basically you prefer mornings during the weekdays. I see that you're pretty experienced, but you have a challenge in converting prospects into active business builders. So let's work on that. Imagine being able to be laser focused on where you focus your attention. And the beauty about having a system like that is it doesn't depend upon the availability of your sponsor. It doesn't depend upon the skill or knowledge or experience of your sponsor. It doesn't matter if your sponsor's absolutely hopeless and doesn't know anything or doesn't even care about supporting you, because the system will always have information. And there's a resources section in there as well. It's where all our team updates will be. And it's completely private as well. In other words, nobody else is going to know you're in there, because we even have a tab where you can go private, because we know there's some people involved in other opportunities where they can't, because of the terms and conditions of the opportunity, they're not allowed to be seen in something else. So your participation in our team system, basically, sorry, we've got a new puppy now. Just give me a sec. Lucky, come here. Come here. Come on, inside. Inside.
Still being house trained. Welcome, Rob.
So basically, what I was saying there is we've tried to systemize everything so that you could be actually sound asleep in South Africa, but meanwhile you're a person in Australia or in Latin America or in Japan, you're still able to access everything. And when you wake up in the morning, you can go in there in your back office and you can see all the new people that have come through the system in your sales funnel back office. You'll be able to see all the stats. You'll even know that you've had basically maybe 100 people go through the funnel, and that's resulted in 60 people being captured who've converted into X amount of. This dog's too smart for his own good. He gets through the door.
Yes, I think you're aware of those problems.
Yeah. So I'll just lock this door so I'll just make it easy, that way you can't get out. Good job. The joys of working from home, eh? So the babies or dogs. Yeah, so it gives you a way to measure your results, and we'll even ultimately develop different types of funnels as well. So you'll have maybe one funnel that will be tailored towards just clearly showing, basically, it's all about Daisy. Whereas might be another funnel that's totally geared towards just people who are just interested in passive income opportunities. And it'll capture them and then lead them down that side, because not everyone's interested in building a huge network. Some people just want to be able to put their money to work. And you don't want to hit them up with a whole bunch of network marketing terminology and high pressure sort of, sales marketing type. But then you've got your network marketers who want to know all about the comp plan. So you can even target with different demographics, and each funnel's got its own unique URL as well. So that's a lot of information, but I want you just to see that, we're not just actually dabbling with this. We've taken $100,000 of infrastructure. We've already built that. I've just been so busy in the trenches for the last 2 weeks, I haven't had a chance to actually put the content in. If anybody knows, Chris has worked with me for a long time. He knows I'm a machine when it comes to content. Once I get in my zone, it'll be pretty quick. So my goal is to have that available for next week. And it's a good timing, because you're all aware right now that we do have some challenges. There are some technical challenges, and they're not to do necessarily with the smart contract side of things. It's more the what I keep giving the analogy that at the moment we're at a situation where the engine room or the shop, the core function of the business, that's working brilliantly. It's the actual sliding doors that allow you to enter into that they're not working properly. Sometimes they jam you when you're trying to walk through the door. Sometimes they don't open at all. Sometimes they let people through. Sometimes they smack you in the face. And so basically what's happening is, Endotech has decided this, has been so impressed. I don't know if you looked on your phone, but I think I was looking, Chris, just before, something like $24 million has already come in the first 2 days into the Endotech trading pool. So they're pretty excited because and so they've just thrown their entire development team at this and said, look, we'll solve all the website interface problems. So we're expecting that probably Sunday, Monday, that'll be resolved. So we'll have a whole new interface. And because at the moment, it's been like we're trying to open the dam and put the water through a garden hose. And that's been part of the problem. And there's been some other little technical issues, but that's the main issue. So that'll be resolved. So it's all be smooth sailing. So what I say to people too is, as leaders, you have to decide what's best for you too in terms of timing. I've got leaders who are people that they don't want to do all the hands-on support and to deal with all the technical issues right now. So they just said, look, we'll come back. We totally believe in the opportunity. We'll come back next week when it's all ready, because we just want to work when it's actually smooth sailing, and we know we can do 10 times as much when it's smooth sailing. And there are other people that say, no, I can't wait till next week. I've got to get in now, and I've got to get busy now, and I'm prepared to get my hands dirty, and I'm prepared to accept that there's only a few challenges along the way, and we'll learn how to deal with that. So I'm just being brutally honest with you. You have to decide too who you are, and it's okay either way. Whether you get in the trenches now, or whether you work with Chris for some of the technical challenges, or whether you just say, okay, I'll spend this time between now and when it's all done, getting myself prepared, making sure I know everything. I've got my team all geared up. I've got them all trained what to do. So, we're here to support you as best we can, to provide you with the systems and support. We are very hands-on. Chris is more looking after the technical support right now, solving all the problems of people who are having issues. I'm trying to sort of, as much as possible, quarantine myself a little bit towards focusing on content, because, again, like I said, I can spend my entire day. Excuse me, I've been talking so much today. I can spend my entire day putting fires out and just answering queries, or I can create 5, 6 videos that address every issue that keeps coming up all the time, put it on a YouTube channel, and then you can just use that resource so you don't have to keep answering that same question again. Because we all know as leaders, nothing more frustrating and actual demotivating and also time sapping than having the same question asked 100 times during the day. Whereas if we just put a video up that answers that question, that's it. So I hope that's a very long-winded intro for me, but I just wanted to give you a big picture view of what we're doing to support you in this.
Thank you, Michael. And I think, everyone can see that you are a systems person and that you won't rest until the systems are working properly. And one of the things that's really encouraging is that the smart contract is working 100%. And it's just the front door to the shop, as you say, that's a little bit jammed at the moment. But in a week's time, that'll be solved and people will be able to come through. And there should be no problems. Just while we're going through the challenges, Chris has been great support. He's spent about 2 hours with some of our team yesterday, going through some of the issues. And if we do have problems on that, he's said that he's available and we can just link up with him and he will go take us through that. But having said all that,
Chris's New Year's Eve did not get any sleep in 2021, I think.
It started well. Are there any questions anybody would like to ask or any clarification? Just unmute yourself and come in.
Good afternoon to you all.
Hi.
John Bafoti.
Yes, Steve. Hello, everyone.
Hi, how are you? Great to meet you.
Glad to meet you too. I consider myself very lucky to be in this team. I'm excited to have met you, Michael and Dave, as my sponsors. Thank you very much for the support I received thus far. But I still have a challenge just before we close. I still have a challenge. My team started registrations last night. As you are aware that we're having challenges throughout. Yeah. But we've only managed to register 9 out of the last batch of 27 people because of same challenges coming up. My leaders are here. Maybe they will explain what was happening because I was not on the site.
Yeah.
But all that I'm trying to say is that we haven't completed our registrations as we wanted to.
So with Chris, basically Chris, what I'd recommend, like he's been doing with Dave's other leaders, is actually book a time on a Zoom with him and let him share a screen and you share your screen so he can see exactly what the real issues are, because he's probably faced every technical issue now as possible. And maybe I'll let Chris, you address that on what's the best way to proceed with that if you're available. I know you're handling support issues right now. Are you there, Chris, or you?
Yes, certainly, Michael. Thank you, and thanks, Dave, for being able to help. Look, what I'd like to say is that the easiest way for me to help with support is when someone's using a computer and they have the Chrome browser and the Tron Link wallet installed. Now, even if you don't have that process, I'll step you through the process of getting it and doing it that way. But it's the quickest way to enable us to get you the support, to get you registered, to get the tiers upgraded. And more than that, the exciting part of this is that the challenge is actually a great opportunity. So the challenge we're facing with the front door not working properly means that you get to understand how the blockchain really works and to see how your transactions and your commissions and your relationships and registration process can happen on the blockchain. So, you know, there is quite a few positives in the fact that we're learning these things, even though they're a little frustrating, but they are definitely much easier to do on a screen.
Excuse me.
And the other thing is that you can still operate on your phone and have your wallet on your laptop as well. And it works.
Yeah, the beauty to look at it is your Tron wallet is like your bank account. And, you know, with your bank account, you can go into the bank and access your bank account. You can go to the ATM and access your bank account. And you can go to your phone and access your bank account. So it's the same way. You know, basically, the Chrome extension through TronLink is just another way to access your wallet. Your Clever app is one way. Your TronLink Pro app on your phone is another way. So there's multiple doorways in, but having that set up on your desktop, on your laptop or your PC, one, it's much easier to read, but also it just tends to be working very well. And it means Chris can share a screen. You can share a screen with him on your PC, and it just gives you another way to access the exact same wallet. But he's very good. He's very patient, I know, at working through the issues. So, and it's good for you too, because you get to learn as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mthombokuti?
Can
Yeah.
I please come in?
Willie?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Hello,
My
how are you,
name
Winnie?
is, yes, thank you, Dave. Hi. And hi, Michael. Good evening,
Hi.
Chris. I'm pleased to meet you. And just like Footy, I'm humbled and honored to be part of this team. I'm one of the leaders that had a problem with registrations since last night, to a point that I said to my other partner, he said to me, maybe this is not meant for cell phones because my laptop is down. It's got charging problems. So I don't have a desktop. I solely use my cell phone all the time. And the Chrome browser, maybe we need more training on the Chrome browser, how to do. We did use the link that was sent to us. It would open all the way to a point whereby you fill in the details to register the person on the, say, if the person is doing a registration, then they would go to put the sponsors the way Chris showed us yesterday, the sponsor's wallet address.
Yeah.
But when it comes to copying the transactions, the latest transactions, so that you know how much is to be paid, you copy and it does not paste on the Tron scan. Now it doesn't paste the amount, therefore you cannot proceed. That was my challenge. I could not proceed. I sent the screenshots to Puti to show her that I am stuck here, I'm challenged. And I also shared the screenshots to Dave. Then I went back and I tried the registration using the link itself, you know, the one we copy from the Daisy back office, whereby you would copy your link that has your username and go to the D app and paste it there. Yes, and then yesterday I was trying to do a registration before a meeting with Chris, in the night before, because it goes to a point where it shows the sponsor username, and the person must also put in their username in that case, and their wallet address is already added for them. But when they click to proceed for payment, it does not proceed. That was yesterday and the day before. And today I tried to go back that route because our other partner, the one that registered 9, she is using a laptop and she's using the D app and the link that has the username, not the Tron scan. Because the Tron scan also gave her challenges. That's why she moved over. So then she managed to successfully do the 9 transactions with her laptop. So I went follow suit with my phone. I did not win. So I just had to throw in the towel. I was very disappointed because yes, people are talking. People are not happy that they've been waiting since before Christmas. As much as we try and explain that we are working around the clock, things will be okay if they may hang on in there. And once you try and guide a person, because most of the registrations are done by the person themselves, not by me. Right. When you are guiding a person and you get stuck, then it becomes a challenge, you know, because now you don't know what to do and you're in front of this person that actually expects you to know it all. Even if you know what to do and the system is not letting you get there, then that's where my challenge was. Thank you.
Totally understand, Winnie, and it is frustrating. I can tell you that Chrissy, much more than me, has been down in the trenches till 3, 5 in the morning every day dealing with it, and every leader's facing it right now. And that's why I say I want to say a few things. One, whether they'll join today or they join in a few days' time, they haven't missed the opportunity. This is not a one-week opportunity. Okay, this has got longevity. I had a long call today with Ilya, who's my friend, who's the co-founder and our direct sponsor, and we're actually frontline direct to one of the founding physicians. So I work very closely with him. And when he shared even more today about the long-term vision of this company or this project, just it's important for people to know that, you know, it's unfortunate we face these challenges, but again, they're issues that can all be resolved. Everyone is throwing, you know, from Endotech to the IT team to founders, leadership, everyone's throwing everything at this. And I just want to share with you that even in spite of all this, we have done nearly $50 million in turnover in 2 days. We have nearly 50,000 people enrolled, and we've got people who've earned multiple six figures income. Yeah. Taking into account, yes, some of those leaders worked for 2 or 3 months prior and had big teams, but in spite of all the challenges, we've done an amazing thing. So what I say to people is we've just begun. And right now we're also only talking about the front end income. We're not even seeing the back end when the trading starts to kick in a few weeks' time, and that starts to generate the trading rewards. That's longevity, and that's passive. That's regular repeat money. So it's not a one-off crowdfunding tier contribution. You've got this repeat. So it's up to us as leaders to share the bigger picture with people. And as I said, you may with some people have to say, look, right now, next few days, just actually study the system, get very familiar with it. Let's come back in a few days when these technical challenges are resolved, because they will be resolved. They will be resolved. Everyone is totally committed to resolving it. And Endotech said that they expect, by Sunday, Monday, at the very worst case, have it all done. But yeah, otherwise, book a time with Chris and let him walk you through. I mean, you can share a Zoom screen on your phone as well. So if you don't have access to a laptop, it is possible to share your screen on a phone. It's not impossible. And, there was workarounds, but I'm just saying, if somebody is really frustrated, you have to sort of say to them, what do you want to do? Do you want to just hold off for a few days and wait until this is all resolved? Or do you want to continue accepting that it might be a bumpy road right now? But honestly, next week, we'll all be looking back at this, and it'll be history. It'll be history behind us, and we'll be in full business building mode. And the beauty about it is you'll have all these extra systems in place to fast track. So, I mean, our team, the infrastructure we're building for our team, no other team has that. Some people, some teams have got funnels, but they're doing such complicated process. They'll be charging their team. We're giving this funnel system we spent $100,000 on for free to our entire team. You don't have to pay a cent ever for that. So, we're fully committed to giving you everything you need. So we just ask you to be patient with us and know that, and even with Elliot and Edward, who are directly above me, I mean, two of the three co-founders. In fact, they were the two original creators of the idea behind this. They are in boots and all. I mean, fully committed. So you've got, between Dave and myself and Chris and Ilya and Edward, you've got a dynamo team to support you. And you'll get to know us. Some of you already know us, and some of you get to know us, that, we get the actual rear vision mirror and throw it out the window. We never look back. We always look forward. We're problem solvers. We're not problem makers. That's who we are by nature. And I know you are as well. I know you wouldn't be associated with Dave if you weren't that way. And I totally respect and appreciate and sympathize with you that this is very challenging right now. But the rewards will be worth it, because you're going to, honestly, in this next 30 days, if you see this through, you'll probably make more than you've ever made in any other business. I mean, in my 31 years, this has been the best start to a business ever. It's been amazing. And we only started, I mean, we were late bloomers. We only came on about 2.5 weeks before the go live. So we were late on the scene. But what we did in 2.5 weeks almost matched what a lot of other teams have done in months. And that's not to brag. It's just because when we go in, we go all in. We're fully in. I'm in work mode, whatever it takes. So I hope that gives you some confidence. But said, work with Chris on the technical issues. I'll keep supporting you on the marketing side and the team building side.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else who's got? My pleasure, Winnie, and nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you. Hey, Chris.
Can I add one comment?
Yeah.
And that is that the most important thing for me with this is that if you have any concern of losing team members, then those people have to be a priority, and I'll put whatever time it is necessary. whether we have to do it on a telephone or otherwise, to help you through the process. If you're prepared to put in the time, I'm prepared to put in the time and effort. And for those that you don't have that concern on, within a few days, you'll have a simpler system that'll work perfectly on phones. But whichever way, we are here to support you and ensure that we make this period that is a pioneering stage as smooth as we can.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Chris. I think Lynette had a question just now.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Lynette.
Greetings, everybody.
Hi, how are you?
I'm so pleased as well to meet you, Michael Frost, and I'm just saying hi to Chris. Hi, Dave. And I thank you so much for this opportunity that you have given us. I consider ourselves blessed, and it's up to us now to take this forth. What I'm trying to say is that, yes, I do have a laptop that I'm using, but most of the time, for me, it works much more quicker and easily when I'm using my cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So what I did is that, because when you go to the blockchain, there's challenges, more especially when it comes to calculations. And another thing that I realized was that for the past 2 days, like yesterday and today, the Tron was fluctuating a lot. It was going up and down. Most of the time it was down. So that is why most of the transactions, when people were registering, they were not going through, because you might find out that maybe, say for instance, you are using, you are calculating almost 3,800 Trons or 3,900 Trons. By the time you make the payment, already the Tron goes to 4,000 to 4,100. Those are the challenges that were taking place. But it was safe if you put it on a round figure of 4,001 or 4,000. So that is why everything went smooth, because really, to be honest and frank, I didn't have any problems registering those 9. And I was using my cell phone.
Right. So margin, like a 5% margin, if you add a 5 or 10% margin on top, just to allow for fluctuations, that's probably a safe way. And also with the fees, I mean, the gas fees.
Yes, the gas fees.
And again, yeah, that's been a bit higher this last 24 hours as well, which they are working on that as well. So yeah, it's best to allow a little bit of buffer there, and that will also help to ensure more people get that successfully through the system.
Great.
Hey guys,
any other
Extreme here.
questions? No.
It's Dave. I got the quick one, and it's not
Steph.
technical related.
No worries.
I just want to know, on the trading side, when someone signs up, more or less, is there estimated time before they'll start seeing results?
Yeah. Okay. So let me explain the process as well. And then maybe Chris did a little research on Endotech, so I'll let him do a bit of a spiel about the trading methodology and how. But basically what happens is, when a crowdfunding tier is funded, that allocation that goes to the trading pool across Endotech is done instantaneously as Tron. When it hits Endotech, they immediately convert it into USDT, and I'm in Binance, and it's sitting in Binance. Now, the AI will basically, they said we'll start to kick in with some trades probably in the next few weeks, but it's not like an actual day trade like with scalping. These are actually more long-term positions. So I'll let Chris say more about that, but it's something that we would expect in the next few weeks that it'll start to execute positions. The AI looks for the best optimal times to enter the market and exit the market, and those positions can take anything from hours to days to weeks to execute, because it's just not like just trying to shove trades in every single day. It's very intelligent, and it's very conservative. The actual leverage, there's no leverage with this trading either that we're using for this, so that that also, as far as, mitigates a lot of risk to the capital as well. So they're still getting very impressive results, and the whole point of AI is to multiply the results they're getting and have a more consistent results. But it's not something where you want to be looking at your back office every day for a result. It's not that sort of trading. But I'll let Chris maybe share a little bit more on that as well. You there, Chris?
Yeah, Michael. So Endotech has a series of different styles. They have an alpha and a beta algorithm that have options with regards to leverage and non-leverage trades. In the DAISY situation, they're not using a leverage trade situation. I think they're using the beta algorithm. These are not high frequency. These are very, very, when you're using AI, they're looking for specific trend changes in the markets and very, very strategic choices based on a whole lot of different factors. And then they're able to make significant gains. And the bottom line is that they don't make a profit every month. And if you look at the historical data, you will see they don't make a profit every single month. But when they make a profit, it can be 100, it can be 300% in a month. That's what's probably so amazing about them. They're able to choose when not to trade. And sometimes not trading is the right choice. And so the success rate of their trades is very high, and the range returns for the trade positions they picked historically have been exceptionally good. So it is a really different sort of methodology of trading. You know, we expect a trader should always be trading. Well, the market's moving, the market's volatile, the market's this, that, or the other. No, they have a different way their machine makes these decisions and their AI interfaces, and it's proven to be very, very successful. But it's not something that you'll be looking at trade results every single day in the back office. This is not real wealth creation in terms of thinking that way. So what we do, it's about the quality of an exit. And that's what really matters. And that's what they're specialists at. And that's what we need to leave them to do, and not have expectations of instant daily yields.
And another thing too, I have a range for our leadership, which, you know, you're all leaders. Tomorrow, Ilya is going to be we're doing a Zoom at 8 p.m. Thailand time. So that's going to be 3 p.m. for you. I understand some of you will be at work, but I'll record it. But he's going to be sharing his business background prior and also, but he's also going to be sharing his results with Endotech that he's been getting himself personally. And he's been doing a combination of the more conservative approach and also the high leverage. And the results are just staggering. I mean, he shared today some of the results he's getting. So there'll be an opportunity to see him sharing his screen, real results of what he's sharing. He's been doing that since about, I think, October, November last year. Whereas Edward, his business partner, has been trading with Endotech, I think, about 2 years. And we'll arrange another Zoom with Edward soon as well. Once we get past this stage of this next week, probably next week, we'll try to arrange a follow-up webinar with Edward to share his results as well. So you can get sort of first-hand experience of what's going on. But yeah, so I just want to, because, you know, typically the trading opportunities, and this is, remember, this is not a trading opportunity too. It's very important to understand. This is a crowdfunding opportunity. And the whole point of the crowdfund is to raise money for two objectives: to raise R&D, research and development money for the AI to improve its performance, and two, to raise a pool of about $500 million that is funds that that new AI can learn from and put to work, and you're getting rewarded for your crowdfund. And you're rewarded two ways. There's the IPO, the shares in the public listing of Endotech late next year is the goal. And as this AI uses this trading pool and is doing it's getting smarter and smarter, it's generating profits, and that is shared back with the crowdfunding contributors. So don't look at this like other programs that are doing a daily delivery, you know, X% per day or whatever it is. It's not one of those deals. This is institutional level trading, and I'm just going to explain that high frequency. It's not a high frequency trading. So I hope that answers your question, Stefan.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it. Then one more question everyone asked. Can we get sneak peeks of the trading actually happening? We all know it's happening, but people do want to see it as well.
Yeah. Look, what I have been told is Endotech's getting one of the top 4 accounting firms in the world, like a Deloitte or a PricewaterhouseCoopers, to do a regular audit on the results and publish that. So you'll have one of the top tier accounting firms in the world coming in, auditing the results. And it's not going to be every day, obviously, but every few months they'll publish an audit of the last month's results. As to what other transparency they're going to release, I'm not sure yet, because it hasn't even started trading yet. So let's get through this stage. But you can see the intention is to be as transparent as possible with this. And obviously, even with the smart contract, it is completely transparent. I mean, you can't hide anything with the blockchain, with everything as well. So I'm not sure whether they're going to be publishing the results through the blockchain as well with the trading, but definitely on the accounting side of things, there'll be independent audits done on the results.
If I could add one thing, if you were to be a big investor and you wanted to invest with Endotech, their fee alone for you to come in the door is $100,000 up front. Okay.
125.
Sorry?
125,000.
Yes, sorry, 125,000. So that's what it costs if you want to have your pool of $1 million traded by them. But if you happen to qualify through Daisy at the top level, you actually get to be able to have a direct account where you put your money in Binance, they'll connect their API to your Binance account, and they will have their bot, their AI trade your account with complete transparency. So the amazing thing is, if you got all of the tiers and you paid for them at $102,000 or $103,000, you would actually end up with $65,000 or $68,000 in the trading pool. You would have paid a much less fee, and you would be able to be a VIP customer with Endotech, way and beyond this. So Daisy's done a fantastic help in terms of being able to enable an investor who might want to go direct actually to be able to access Endotech at a better entry value. So that's I mean,
I'll give you one example. I had a friend of mine just I was talking to, and he's very interesting. His circle of influence is a lot of wealthy people, or people that happy to throw $100,000 or something. And he was asking about this. I think we'd be prepared to pay the $125,000 and put $1 million of funds together. And I said, Peter, you're in Daisy. You don't need to do that. You just put your 10 tiers in at 102,000. You've now got VIP access to Endotech. You don't need $1 million. You only need $20,000 in Binance. It's in your account. You've got direct lifetime access to Endotech. You're keeping 80% of the profit as well. And he's like, so there'll be people, you may not be in that situation yourself, but there are people out there. South Africa as well. Not everyone's on a low income. There are a lot of wealthy people in South Africa as well, and a lot of wealthy people, a lot of people there who have contacts elsewhere in the world. So that's what I want you to see. There's more to that. And guess what? When those sort of people come involved in this opportunity, every time they withdraw their profit, 10% of that flows through the upline. 10% of what they're generating. That's fine. So they're happy because they're getting the funds traded in their Binance account. I mean, there's no more control than having it in your account with full transparency. You're paying. You only have to have $20,000 minimum rather than $1 million. You've saved $125,000, which $100,000 is actually put. As Chris said, $68,000 is going into trade anyway with Daisy. So that will happen as well in your network, and that's going to imagine that sort of volume of funds flowing upline as well. So this has longevity. Also, remember the roadmap for this is not just cryptocurrency trading. They're going to be moving into forex trading. They're going with stock market, commodities, futures. I mean, these are all part of the roadmap for the next few years. Now they've got a roadmap for the next few years, moving into different asset classes and having $1 billion under management with forex, for example, which in the crypto space that's a lot of money, but in the forex space that's nothing. So this project has longevity. It's not just another smart contract money game, just pumping money through a smart contract. This actually has real substance.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No worries, pleasure. Anybody else? This is your chance to ask the $1 million questions.
Michael, just while we're waiting there, I have had a question to say, we're getting 5% of Endotech's share distribution. How many shares are involved, and do we know what?
Yeah, so basically the way it's going to work is each crowdfunding tier gives you a certain number of shares of the total value of that 5%. So in other words, I'm not sure exactly what, it's more about the process. So think about whatever the number of shares that's going to be issued. Let's say it was 1 million shares. Let's say it's 1 million shares, for example. 5% of that, which would be 50,000 shares, that will be set aside for the general days membership base. And every person with your contribution gets a share of that. So, the $100 tier gives you 1 share, and as you upgrade, you get more shares of the 5%. If you're an actual pace setter, and the pace setter is basically 24 personal enrollees with 128,000 of crowdfunding volume in the first 30 days, you also get a share of an additional 5%. So Endotech's actually giving 10% in total towards the DAISY project. So you've got an opportunity not only to get a share of 5% of the shares, but actually 10%. I can't tell you, because it doesn't matter whether you end up with 1 share or 100 million shares, because it just depends on what the total number of shares is and what their value is. But the point, it's more about what is the formula. And so whatever the total number of shares are issued, whatever that value is, there's a total of 10%, 5% for the general member base, and another 5% for the leadership. So, why not shoot for pace setter? Every leader on this call should be aiming for pace setter in their first 30 days. Shoot for the stars, hit the moon, you're still going to be better off. That's the way to approach it. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, no, thanks, Michael. And any other questions anybody's got before we log off?
I just want to add a feedback to the question about how quickly do you see earnings. The amazing thing about this smart contract is the minute the smart contract is validated, basically the instant it occurs on the blockchain, the distribution of Tron occurs to all of the eligible people. So if you introduce someone and they buy the $100 package, instantly when that's verified, there will be Tron in your wallet. It happens that fast, that transparently. You're not waiting for someone in admin to say, I'm going to approve this transaction and who gets their share. The beauty of the smart contract is it's written in the code of the contract. And as it accepts the Tron, it immediately distributes the Tron to all of the correct people. So as far as how quickly we will see earnings from a sale, it's almost instant. As soon as it's confirmed on the blockchain.
Look at my wallet. A few seconds ago, a few seconds ago, a few seconds ago, a few seconds ago, a minute ago, a minute ago, 2 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago, 3 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. That's how fast they're coming in.
Yeah. So that's actually what happens. So it's about having a numbers game of making sure that as you can, you upgrade the tiers so your downline can't become your upline in the next matrix. That's important. And it's about the number of people we can bring to the table who can benefit from the returns that the DAISY crowdfunding model offers. What's amazing about this is Endotech is a really solid trading corporation that's got fantastic track record. What's happened is better than an MLM model. It's a hybrid on steroids MLM model in a smart contract where the amount of distribution for each tier sale is very significant, and it's automatic, it's indelible, and it happens, in a smart contract arrangement where fear, greed, ego, power trips, all of those silly things that happen in management can't affect your paycheck for the work you do to bring crowdfunding to the DAISY program. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah. On the YouTube channel, I did a video on how to maximize the compensation plan, but I just want to highlight a couple of things because you're all leaders to wrap this up, what you should be thinking about. A lot of people are looking upline for spillover, and I did a Facebook Live on this tonight. just want to highlight a few things. Spillover is irrelevant if you're not qualified to earn on it. Okay, so what I teach my team is the only thing you can control is what you do. You can't control your upline or anybody else. So basically, if your focus is to become a pace setter, that means 24 personally enrolled. You only got 3 on the front line. So the other 21 have to go underneath. So spillover has to happen. It's not a if or a maybe. It will happen as long as people are working towards meeting qualification. But if you don't meet the qualification, so if you've got crowdfunding contributions coming in on levels in your matrix that you're not qualified for, you've missed that commission forever. It's gone. It's not going to hang around. It's not sitting there waiting for you to qualify. So what I tell people is, don't worry about what's happening above you. Worry about creating spillover by enrolling your 24 people as fast as you possibly can. All of you are on this call because you're leaders. And leaders don't start a business to sort of see the least amount of money they can make. They look at what the most amount of money they can make. And the way you make the most money from this is 24 personally enrolled and building up to $128,000 of a cumulative crowdfunding between those, well, between all your personal. So you have to stop at 24. You can keep going. I mean, we've enrolled 35, 40 people already, and we haven't even got into serious mode yet. But we've already got a couple of $100,000 of personal volume already from those people. But I always say you can only control you, but you want to make sure that you're qualified, because you don't want to see spillover happening in your organization and not earn on it. And also your qualification, there's 2 critical things. Each crowdfunding contribution puts you into another matrix. So there are 10 crowdfunding contributions, 10 different matrices. Your qualification basically is about the number of generations across all the matrices that you are able to earn on. So if you qualify for the 10 generations, that means you're qualified for 10 generations in depth across all the matrices, but you only participate in the matrices that you have crowdfunded into. So if you only crowdfund the 100 and the 200 and the 400, you're only in those 3 matrices, even though you may be qualified for 10 generations. Does that make sense? So it's really critical to watch that video on how to max your income, because I really stress the key things to be aware of in that. But I've done a few Zooms the last few days, and people are really getting that, becoming a pace setter means not only are you getting a share of your downline, you're getting a share of every single contribution in the entire company. I mean, think about it. Nearly $50 million of funding's come in already. What if you were getting a piece of 50 million, even as a little bit? And that's only in the first 2 days. So I hear some little light bulbs going off, and I'm excited. Think about this. This could be $1 billion project in the next 90 days. Would you like a share of $1 billion? All you got to do is find 24 people minimum and do that in the next 30 days. So the sooner you get busy focusing on what you're doing and not looking upline on what they're doing, the sooner you've got a potential to get a share of $1 billion plus. Hope that gets you excited.
So just to mention that we've got through our upline a support in a Facebook Live page, and Michael does post videos there regularly, and it's Daisy Land. Everybody should actually be on that.
Yeah, we've basically got 2 things. We've got the actual Daisyland group Facebook group, and there's learning units in there, and we've also got a leadership Telegram group and channel, which is just for aspiring or existing pace setters. We did pace setter in our second day, but basically, it's a group for leaders. It's not for just prospects. It's basically for that Telegram group specifically for the people who've got a leadership mindset and have an aspiration and are fully committed to going pace setter. But you're going to be mixing with people who've got 10, 20, 30 years experience, people who are, multiple 7, even 8-figure earners. So it's a really great thing of people. And we've got a YouTube channel as well. So if you plug into the, I'll send Dave's Dave's got the links to them all, but I'll send it through to him again so he can get that information out to you guys so you can all plug in. That's the critical thing. Plug into the resources. You don't need to create anything. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We've done it all for you. Okay, well, is there anything else we need to do before we close off? Otherwise, I'll let you guys get on with your day and I'm going to get some sleep. It's 11:37. I know for Chris, it's like 2:30 in the morning for him.
All right. Well, thanks very much, Michael. Thanks for your time. And we appreciate
my pleasure.
it. Thanks, Chris.
Great. Well, I said, while Dave's busy in Tanzania, sitting on the beach drinking coconuts, I'm sure he's only busy while he's there. Yeah, reach into the Facebook group, then you'll obviously see my details. Plug into the Telegram group as well, into the YouTube channel, and you've got availability to Chris and I as well. We look forward to supporting you, and let's make this next 2 weeks count, hey? Thanks, everyone.
Chris,
Great to meet you. All the
Wynn's
best.
got a bit of a problem. If we could set up a time when you available just to deal with a particular problem there.
Yep. Probably, if you want to pass on Chris's Telegram details, and then they can arrange a time. It probably will be tomorrow. Hey, Chris, I think you're getting ready to go to bed.
Muted.
Sorry about that. I didn't realize I was muted. @OptimalSoul is my Telegram ID. I have one support call that I need to do urgently. When I finish that, Dave, I'll be happy to do whatever we need to today.
Okay, thanks very much.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. He's a workaholic, Winning. He doesn't know when to stop.
Wow.
That's why Chris is a business partner. He's the hardest worker I've ever met in my life.
And I've got to say, Michael is the most positive, keeps me focused, keeps me going forward. You know, occasionally I'm a little bit too much of a realist, and I'm blessed to have Michael in terms of really lifting my spirits. And that is one of the greatest things about Michael. He's always able to see the solution and the way forward, and carries such an amazing positive energy. So I'm very blessed in that regard.
Thanks. Well, there you go.
It's
a love fest between two guys. Won't go any further than that. Thanks, everyone. Great to work with you.
Thank you.
Very excited. Dave, have a safe trip, and
thank you.
We'll keep in touch. Good night, everyone.
Justin.